Hey everybody, welcome back to the drawing board here. Today I'm going to be asking you to draw an editorial cartoon. It's just a type of cartoon that expresses an opinion. In the newspapers, in the past, newspapers aren't as popular as they once were, but they're still there. But you can find these online anywhere you look. And it's basically, when you say someone is editorializing or it's editorial, it's derived from an editor who is writing about an opinion, or someone writing on behalf of the editor of the newspaper, which is just the person who's in charge of the content of the paper. But we can just say, if someone's editorializing, we're defining that as opinion versus fact, okay? And some of these examples I'm going to show you are taking on serious matters. And this is one of the powers that a cartoon or an illustration can have, is it can talk about a touchy subject, sometimes easier than writing about it. Another power of an illustration is people will look at and remember a picture more likely than reading, the whole column. So if you want to get your message out, yeah, write the column, give all the details and your position and everything. But if you complement that with an image, people will understand right away. A lot of the times in the past, like in this one that I'm showing right now, it's called Join or Die, and this cartoon is attributed to Benjamin Franklin. We're not for sure that he drew it, but we're just going to say he did. It shows a snake that's cut up into 8 pieces, and this is supposed to represent the colonies. There was a superstition or a belief, an old wives' tale, however you want to say it, at the time that snakes had some type of magical power, that if you cut them up into pieces, they would go back together. Which I don't know why that superstition ever existed, because if anybody ever tried it, they would see that it doesn't work. But if you cut up a worm, the pieces still move. And I hope you don't ever cut up worms, but you probably know about that. But anyway, it's drawing on that fact that everybody knew about this belief at that time, and it's trying to compel the members of the 13 colony people, the population, to come together to fight against England. So we know about the Revolutionary War and all that. So this is one of the earliest political cartoons in American history. So when you do yours, you don't have to take on anything super serious. You can even do something humorous if you like to, but I would like you to comment on something in life. Take a position one way or the other, or just remark on something that you find other people might laugh at or be able to relate to. I'll show you what I'm talking about when I show you how to do the process of producing the cartoon. But let's look at a couple more examples. This one is called How to Let Go Gracefully. It shows Lyndon B. Johnson, who was the president at the time of the Vietnam War, where people believed that America had gotten into a situation that was untenable. They didn't have a way out once they got involved in Vietnam. They just pull out, and it's similar to some things that have happened recently with Afghanistan. But some people believe in the war, some people don't believe in the war, but now that they are in the war, like, how do we get out of it? And it's showing a picture of a tiger being held by the tail, which again, it's a commonly known saying or thing, like, yeah, you have the tiger by the tail, but now it's like, okay, you've caught the tiger, but it's like, but you really haven't caught anything, because that tiger is going to turn around and shred you, So it's kind of it's an interesting saying, tiger by the tail. Yeah, you have a hold of something, but you don't have control over it. And they're using this saying really well here in the image, and you can see what's going on. One more example, and this one has had some controversy surrounding it in the recent past that I remember seeing in the news. This is Dr. Seuss, which you might know from Green Eggs and Ham. And there's a lot of these cartoons that if you look at them today, you may see something that doesn't seem politically correct, meaning like somebody's saying something that is offensive to a certain culture, or like, but if you have to put it in the context of the time. So this was the time during right before America got involved in World War II, and the Nazi Germany was pretty much taking over a lot of countries in Europe, and the president of the United States at the time was taking the position of like, we're not going to get involved. That's Europe, that's over there. It's across the Atlantic Ocean, and we don't want to take one side or the other. But then there's a lot of people that are saying, if you don't take a side, you're allowing evil to spread, and eventually that evil is going to spread here. We can see these themes repeated throughout history, even today. This isn't history class, but art is involved in everything. So, take a look at it and evaluate. Now, like I said, you don't have to do anything super serious, but you can, if you want to, take on a current political issue if you like. But let's look at how to make one. And remember, we can let ourselves off the hook a little bit. We're just starting to learn how to do this, and I'm asking you to do this cartoon because it's only one cell, it's one box. You can focus all your energy on getting a good idea and just doing one small drawing, okay? There are a few rules that I'm going to ask you to follow, but I'll show you, okay? Let's go. Okay, step number 1. I want you to make a list, okay? So a list of potential topics. I'm just thinking of things that stick out to me in life. So homeschooling is a big deal right now. There's all kinds of things I could say about this. What else? My dogs seem to be a big issue in my life right now. I'm always with them now. I'm always home, so they seem to be more of a burden. I love them and everything. They always want me to take them for a walk. They're always begging for treats. It's like I could do something funny or clever about my dogs. I'm not sure, but this is a good topic. It doesn't have to be anything that's happening right now. It could just be something general about life, like how your friends treat you, your relationship with your parents, your habits, or whatever you do. So phones are a big deal. I don't know about you, but to me, everybody always being on their phones is new to me because I'm older, but maybe you're just used to it and that's common to you. But there's probably something in the vein of phones you could make a comment about people talking behind each other's backs or whatever it may be. People trying to look good, on social media. Could be something like this. Let's see. Every time I drive past Dunkin' Donuts, it seems like the line is 20 miles long at the drive-thru. I'm just going to say drive-through lines. Yeah, and I know I spelled that wrong, but I did it on purpose. I already have enough here that I could probably come up with something. What else? How about the weather? It was warm one day and then the next day it's snowing. This is something I could probably come up with. So you understand. Let's make a list of 10. I got homeschooling, dogs, phones, social media, drive-through lanes, drive-through lines, the weather, the grocery store situation. It seems, there's a rush on food right now. Social distancing, sleeping in too late, staying up too late. This might be going on in your life. Video meetings. I might make something about this. This is something going on in my life right now. Zoom meetings and cutting the grass. I think these two go together really well for me. I'm thinking about an idea for this. Our tendency is going to be to get one idea and just jump right into that. But I'm trying to teach you the process of coming up with something really good requires doing research, doing thumbnailing, and sketching. So I'm going to circle the ones that I like more. I like these two a lot. I like this one and this one. They kind of relate. So they kind of become one. This one would be pretty easy to do. I might come up with something funny here about toilet paper or something like that. try to be original too, so I don't want to do the same thing everybody else would do. But you can do whatever you like, and I'm not holding you to high scrutiny. Like, I'm not asking you to change the world. I just want you to make a cartoon. Let's start. Let's put our best into it and see what happens. I want you to understand is, it's often taken for granted how much goes into developing an illustration or doing something like this. An artist could work all day long or even more than one day just to make one cartoon. And it seems like nothing, but to get a good one that hits home, it's well drawn, it's all the decisions that were made work. It's not so easy. So you see I have a ruler and a pencil here. I have an eraser nearby, and I'm going to use a pen later. But I made several small squares. Yours don't have to be as fancy as this, but these are going to be my thumbnail sketches. I want you to do a minimum of 8 little sketches. Battery in my camera just went dead. I should make a cartoon about that. That would be good for homeschooling. But here I have this scenario, something about the situation. I'm going to do a bunch of these. I'm not going to record the whole thing because it take a long time. I want you to probably spend, let's get down to this point, like this level, and let's just spend 20 minutes, okay? Alright, so taking it from my list of ideas to thumbnails, and you can see that there wasn't a lot of time spent on these drawings, but it gets me somewhere. I'll explain a couple of these, but I made some notes for myself along with the drawing. So here's the scenario of the kids sleeping in too late. It's just a picture, and it's like a sloppy room. I'm not sure about this one. This one I like. It was the weather and cutting the grass, and here's a picture of a guy out cutting the grass, and right next to him is a line of snow, and there's a snowman next to him while he's cutting the grass. I thought that was pretty good. Here's the dog. Like, as soon as I grab my keys, my dog comes running. In this case, he's coming running. He's holding my shoes. He's got the leash in his mouth, and he's ready to go on the walk because he's so eager to go. This one, I don't know. The girl is this girl sitting on the couch, looking at her phone, and the mother's in the kitchen, and she says, "How about some social distancing from some social media," or something like, "Get off your phone and come in here and help me in the kitchen," or whoever's cooking. It's the dad. That's me cooking. It's like, "Hey, how about doing some social media social distancing and get in here and get in with some real world stuff going on in here." Let's see. A sloppy, again, this is another version of this. It's a sloppy room. Kid's laying back. He's still in his pajamas. He's got slippers on. There's a bag of chips and a video game controller over here. He's like, man, this homeschooling is really tough. Here's one talking about the grocery store situation, and there's a guy going through the grocery store with a cart, and a tumbleweed is kind of going by with empty shelves. That could be good. This isn't the finish. This is just tries. Here's problems with the line at the coffee shop. I didn't like this one. It's like a map view of a really long line where as soon as you pull out of your driveway, you're already in the line to get coffee. I thought it was going to be too hard to express in like a simple drawing. Again, same situation here. I didn't like this one. Not so hot for this one. This one I liked a lot. This was combining a snowblower and a lawnmower into one machine and calling it the Northern PA mower thrower, where it would be just the flip of a switch. You go from cutting grass to blowing snow, and I thought that was pretty good. I might do that one. The kid sitting on, again, same as this one, just another version of this. Kid sitting in a lazy boy chair in his robe and pajamas, got bunny slippers on, and just sitting back on his phone. And he's like, I can't take out the trash right now, Dad. Can't you see I'm at school right now? Which is true. You know, you could just be sitting there in your pajamas on your phone doing your schoolwork in this circumstance. Here's another one about the coffee. This is I was thinking about how does Amazon get things in with their drones. I thought this would be, I wrote here, the answer to long drive-through lines at Dunkin', and it's a drone, and at the bottom of each of the motors is a coffee cup that says Dunkin' Donuts on it, and have them deliver it right to your front door. What's this one? Oh yeah, the days are all seem to be blending into one. So someone's looking at their phone, or they're looking at a calendar or something, and they say to the other person, apparently it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and they kind of blending all the words together. So you see what I'm asking you to do. Put some thought into it. These thumbnail sketches are not meant to be really nice. Just record your ideas and come up with one. I really think I'm going to go with this one. You'll need your ruler for the sketch because I'm going to ask you to sketch to actual size. You might as well. So I want you to make this cartoon, let's do 6 by 6 on a regular piece of paper. Make a square that is 6 inches by 6 inches. So I'm only asking you to do a single cell. So that's rule number 1 for the project. Only one frame. If you say, well, I need 2, well, I want you to develop an idea that only needs 1. It's a challenge, okay? So it's 1 frame, 1 cell, okay? I want you to try to use overlapping. I talked about this before, if you can. Talk about how to do this right now. And the only other rule really is if there's dialogue, put the dialogue at the bottom of the frame, like down here. If there's talking, I don't want to see speech bubbles. All right? Cool. So start to sketch your idea. I'm going to do the mower, the thrower mower. And I'll start off with it's inside. The setting is inside like a hardware store or a place where you go to buy a lawnmower. The mower shop. So it's inside. I'll just draw a line. I'm going to draw a slightly diagonal line. This represents like where the wall and the floor meet in the background. So maybe in the background there's a shelf of lawnmower parts. This isn't important right now. So I'll just put something in the background, something I might see in a store, probably shelves, or maybe there's a whatever it is back here. But I treat that really lightly because I'm probably going to overlap it. I'm going to draw on top of it. The next thing that's coming, if there's a row of things, there's going to be the machine here, the figures are here, and this is that back wall. So my eyesight is looking right here. Here's what I'm going through. So I'm showing you. So the figures, I don't really want them completely to be showing. I just want to have like one guy standing here. This is the salesman. Here's him. I just draw like a stick figure. I'm only going to show his trousers here, and maybe he's showing with his hand the guy, the machine, and this guy's kind of like, I don't know, he's not really sure if he wants to buy this thing or not. He's being skeptical about it. Maybe he has his hands on his hips, and as he's listening to this guy explain, is this for real? Should I buy it? Okay, there it is. So you see how light I'm drawing just to start to establish this is not the finished product. I don't want to lock myself into anything too soon. But this is the main feature. This is the focal point, the machine itself. So I'll draw that, and I'm going to just draw like a few oblique lines like this. There's a type of drawing called isometric drawing. Mr. Jasinski might have taught you about it. But these lines go the same way, these lines go the same way. This is where the handle will be. So if this is going this way, the top of this handle is going to go right here. This is where you push it. Let's start with that. There's going to be some wheels. It's really long, a lot longer than a regular lawnmower would be. I'm kind of trying to make it funny. Here's the part that takes the snow in. Okay. I'll do some more drawing and then I'll talk to you again. I might move all of this down. See, now that I have this, I want this to take up the frame, so I'll probably change this. I'll probably just move the box up. I'll have to redraw it. I'll just move this part up and move that part up. Alright? So feel free to make a little rough drawing here, and don't be too worried about it. You gotta let go. You gotta be loose. Draw freely, and then when you're done, criticize yourself harshly, you know. Do whatever you think, and then look at it objectively and say, is this good or bad, and then make changes. I'm pretty happy with the way this sketch is coming out. And as you draw and as you develop, as you do your thumbnail, as you do your sketching, your mind is still working. You're going to be coming up with new ideas and things to make it better, and things that you want to take away. I know what a lawnmower looks like because I cut the grass a million times, so I have a pretty good idea on how to draw it. But if you need to look up reference, by all means, you just Google it, look it up, and see what it looks like. Don't copy it. We don't need an exact copy, but if you need to see what some of your subject matter looks like, yes, of course, you look it up and you see look at a picture to help you. You draw it the way you draw it, you know, but I do want you to use overlapping. I do want it to be just in one frame. I do want the dialogue at the bottom, but otherwise, you know, you draw your way. I'm gonna draw my way, and I'm gonna like the way you do it, okay? And I just want you to follow the process, and let's see what you come up with. I'm going to work on this. I actually like this. I might keep this and try to do a really good job on it. And then I'll show you what it looks like. This is what I want you to work on, and then I'll show you a finish. Okay? So I have a reasonably good sketch. It's not too sloppy. If you want to trace your work to get a cleaner copy, just put a piece over it, tape it or staple it down, and put it up to the window, and you can see right through it and just trace a cleaner version. I think I can skip that part because it's clean enough. I'm going to pen it now. I'm going to use an ink pen. I'm going to start off with my lettering. I drew some guidelines to help me, but I'm going to do hand lettering here. I'm doing all caps, and the dialogue, the salesman is speaking to the customer. It's called the Northwestern PA Mower Dash Thrower. You can go from mowing to snow blowing with the flip of a switch, which is kind of what it feels like with the weather right now. So it's going to work out nice. Alright, I'm going to finish it all off by erasing the pencil once it's dry. Give it a few minutes to dry. Make sure you don't smudge your ink. And I did put the border around it. I think it looks better. Take a picture of it and upload it to the Google Classroom. Can't wait to see what you do. I'm going to like whatever you do. It's going to be great. Think about a good idea. Work on it. And there's nothing wrong with trying it a couple times. Right? Put your time to good use, and I'm looking forward to what you do.